Chapter 1. The Collision. Victor Parsons was grading his students' history papers when the phone rang. The clock on his desk read 3:47 p.m. Emma should have been home from soccer practice. His wife Kendra's voice came through the line, shaken, panicked. "Victor, there's been an accident. Emma's in the hospital." The paper slipped from his hands as he bolted upright. 20 minutes later, Victor was running to the halls of St. Mary's Hospital, his heart pounding. In the waiting room, Kendra sat trembling, mascara streaked down her cheeks. She was crossing at the light after practice. She whispered. A kid in a sports car blew the red light, hit her, then drove off. Witnesses caught the plate. Victor's jaw tightened. In 15 years of teaching history, he'd learned to keep his composure, but buried instinct from his old life, instincts he'd sworn to leave behind, were stirring. Dr. Lillian Meadows emerged, her scrubs damp with sweat. "Mr. and Mrs. Parsons, your daughter is stable. Broken ribs, a concussion. Internal bleeding we've managed to control. She's lucky. It could have been worse." Relief came, but so did a cold fury. Later, Detective Jerry Dixon approached them. Thin, kind eyes, but frustration written across his face. "We traced the car. Kyle Sutton, son of Gordon Sutton, CEO of Sutton Industries." Dixon hesitated. "The kid claims he was home all day. His father's lawyers are already fighting to bury this." "Witnesses saw him." Kendra snapped. "I know, but Gordon Sutton has influence. This isn't the first time Kyle's been in trouble. DUI, assault charges, always swept away." That night, Victor sat by Emma's bed, watching his daughter, tubes and wires hooked to her small frame, a bruise spreading across her face. He pulled out a number he hadn't dialed in 5 years. "Nathaniel Kemp here." "Nate, it's Victor Parsons." Silence. Then, "Well, I'll be damned. I thought you'd gone completely civilian." "I did, but I need a favor. Gordon Sutton. What do you know?" On the other end, Nate exhaled sharply. "Enough to tell you he's dangerous, powerful, ruthless. You sure you want to cross him?" Victor looked at his daughter. "I don't have a choice." Chapter 2, The Ultimatum. The next morning, Emma woke, weak, but smiling at her father. "Dad, will they catch him?" Victor squeezed her hand. "Yes, sweetheart. I promise." At noon, Detective Dixon called with worse news. The DA was refusing to file charges. Insufficient evidence. Victor's voice was calm. Too calm. "I see. Thank you, Detective." He drove straight to the glass tower of Sutton Industries. Gordon Sutton's office loomed over the city. The man himself was broad, silver-haired, exuding money and menace. "Mr. Parsons," Sutton said coolly, "unfortunate situation with your daughter. Your son nearly killed a 13-year-old and fled the scene." "Alleged," Sutton smirked. "Even if true, boys will be boys. Accidents happen. Take the settlement and move on. This wasn't an accident. It was criminal. You're emotional," Sutton snapped. "Even if charges stuck, which they won't, my son has protection. Judges, politicians, police. I own them all." Victor leaned forward. "You have 10 minutes to turn your son in." Sutton laughed. "Or what? You're a nobody." "A schoolteacher." Victor checked his watch. 9 minutes, 40 seconds. He walked out as Sutton barked for security. In the elevator, Victor dialed Nate. "I need everything you've got on Sutton. Financials, offshore accounts, political connections. All of it." "Victor, what are you planning?" "Justice." Chapter 3, The Gathering Storm. That night, Victor began dismantling Gordon Sutton's empire, one thread at a time. Nate's intel revealed the truth. Shell companies, offshore laundering, illegal arms contracts. A brother, Eugene Sutton, just as corrupt. And Judge Theodore Cherry, bought and paid for. Victor made the call. "Judge Cherry, retire in 24 hours. Or every recording I have of you taking Sutton's bribes goes public." By dawn, the judge was gone. By noon, evidence of Kyle's car damage and private security footage showing him behind a wheel landed on Detective Dixon's desk. The dominoes began to fall. Chapter 4, The Web Titans. Within 48 hours. Judge Cherry announces retirement. The FBI raided Sutton Industries over shady contracts. Gordon's accounts were frozen. And Kyle Sutton, cornered, terrified, abandoned by his father, turned himself in with a full confession. Dad has 8 minutes left. Kyle told Eugene before the line went dead. For the Suttons, it was over. Chapter 5, The Reckoning. In a storage unit once used to hide assets, Gordon and Eugene found Victor waiting. Calm, calculated, flanked by men who owed him favors. Ex-NSA, ex-Treasury, all professionals. You thought you owned the city, Victor said, but you never owned its conscience. Your son will face justice. Your empire will crumble, and every ounce of corruption you built will be dragged into the light. By nightfall, the brothers were in federal custody, their empire gone. Chapter 6, Consequences. 6 months later, Kyle Sutton was sentenced to 4 years in federal prison. Gordon received 25 for racketeering and conspiracy. Eugene got 15 for obstruction. Their fortune seized, their legacy shattered. Emma recovered fully. Back to soccer, her only scar a faint line on her arm. Dad gave me this, she told her friends proudly, when he fought the bad guys and won. Victor returned quietly to teaching, his students never knowing the full story. To them, he was just Mr. Parsons, the history teacher. But when one student called him a hero, Victor simply smiled. Heroes aren't born special, he said. They're ordinary people who choose to act when it matters most. And that's where our story ends.